The Lions beat the Rams 24-23 on Sunday Night Football. Among the four of us, I was the only one to actually pick the Lions in this one. So I guess that makes up for my Dolphins pick. Nevertheless, Jaevon, you were all over the Ramley. It kind of disappointed me as a 49ers fan. But what did you see from this game as the Lions beat the Rams 24-23?
Very back and forth. I kind of thought whoever would have the ball last would win. I didn't see a lot of defense kind of down the stretch. I think Detroit's front seven is very, very stout and can get pressure on the quarterback. It's kind of their back seven that I'm a little bit more worried about. Yes, they did get C.J. Gardner-Johnson back, but he's kind of still trying to, get himself restored back from injury. I thought Matthew Stafford played exceptionally well, threw for like 367 and three touchdowns. Might have been 2 touchdowns. Puka Nacua is an absolute dog. He could not be stopped. He pretty much did whatever he wanted to do throughout the entire game with over 180 yards receiving, and he's only a rookie. I get C.J. Stroud's kind of already solidified himself as the rookie of the year, but Puka Nacua is like 1A, 1B. That's kind of what it comes down to. I don't know if they're able to share the rookie of the year award, offensive rookie of the year award, if that is, but that's why they have offense and defense. But Puka Nacua kind of balled. There were some calls down the stretch of this game I thought were very key. There was a key pass interference down the stretch of the game. I think it was on Puka Nacua, and it forced them to punt the ball when they could have ended up being in field goal range. And they were down, they were down 1 at the time. However, there was really poor clock management from the Rams down the stretch. Calling those 2 timeouts early in the third quarter was very pivotal because they couldn't stop the clock at the end of the game. So you got to give props to Jared Goff. Jared Goff, if you guys saw the post-game press, it wasn't a press conference. It was kind of like their locker room speech, how Jared Goff got the game ball, and Dan Campbell said that you're good enough to play in Detroit. I thought that was awesome. If you look at the trade that Matthew Stafford kind of was for,
that was a great graphic during the game that they showed.
It was kind of, so I don't know what the years kind of stack up to, but they ended up getting like Penei Sewell, Sam Laporta, Jamison Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs. All of those guys kind of ended up, and I think it was some other guys on the defense as well and offensive line. Pretty much all of those guys and a couple of picks and Jared Goff for Matthew Stafford. Now, the Rams did win. They kind of get the last laugh still because they got a Super Bowl pretty much after this ended up
They got the
happening. And, it's more of a long-term thing because the Rams in the situation that they kind of are in now, the Detroit Lions are kind of building for the future because all of their guys are young. They're in like the first 1 or 2 years of their contract. And Jared Goff is leading the charge, and they're a Tampa Bay Bucks team away from the NFC Championship. And they haven't won a playoff game since 92. Since when Kaz was born was the last time that they won a playoff game. So you got to give hats off to Detroit. I saw there was a guy in the stands who was like 80-something years old. And he's probably been through everything. And, there were guys. He went to the last playoff game, he said. There were guys crying in the stands like, this is me. Like, Detroit is on the up and up. And, they got another home playoff game to look forward to. They got old Baker Mayfield coming to town. So I'm pretty sure Detroit is excited about that as well.
Well, Kaz, I couldn't remember off the top of my head who you had in this game. So perhaps you were with me on the Lions bandwagon. You want to let the record set the record straight?
Yeah, and I actually was not. I was with the Rams on this one.
But I was alone on Lions Island.
Yeah,
I had a reason for it because I wanted the easier route, to you know what I'm saying? Because
you were politicking.
Yeah, I know, man. I know.
Kevin was also politicking.
I was like, man, you know what? If the Rams win, man,
we got caught. All of us got caught politicking.
I'm like, look, yeah. I'm like,
look at my pick,
man, bro. Look, they got to go here. If the Green Bay wins, I felt like, just in case if Dallas wins, I'm like, oh, Dallas wins, they're going to win for sure, right? Go on ahead. Hey, Rams going ahead, man. Go ahead and take on Stanford. We'll take on Dallas. It is what it is. None of that happened, man, and Detroit handled business. Honestly, though, I'll be short with this one. I thought it was a good game. Of course, every playoff game, people are tweeting and saying a bunch of, this call was missed, that call was missed, this and that. Puka Nacua, for instance, on that very one of the last plays, could have been 3 flags thrown for a lot of whatever, and it wasn't. I thought it was a okay no call. We've seen worse calls. It's fine. Calls are going to be missed. They're going to be missed every game. It's not going to change. There's going to be calls missed next week and the next week and in the Super Bowl. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It happened to us last year, with the whole Bradbury thing. Could have been a no call. Could have been. It's football. It's not egregious. It's not like the Saints when they played against whoever the hell it was, where there's a blatant no call. And it was PI, and it wasn't like that. So I thought it was a fair game. Who was it?
I think it was the Packers. I remember that one.
Yeah.
That one.
Where he literally just hit the receiver.
Yeah, I think that was like Drew Brees, like one of their last runs. I remember that.
Yeah, and it was like blatant, just extreme. I mean, they made a rule for that, like because of that no call. But it wasn't like that. People act that way because they're sour, and I get it. But all in all, I thought it was a great game. I thought the better team won. I was politicking, and I was hoping for the Rams to win. But deep down, I was like, the Rams don't have enough juice right now to take down a Detroit team who has shown it to us all season long that they can and are a problem. Detroit's record's legit. Dan Campbell's legit. Jared Goff leading the charge in that defense, and with Aiden Hutchinson, I mean, they're legit. They are a good football team, very well-rounded, very well coached, and with the addition of CJ coming back, you got a dog, a shit talking dog at safety, man. You're geared up to make a run for a Super Bowl, and I'm stoked on it, man. I mean, when my team ain't in it, I'm all day with the underdogs. Sorry guys, but that's just the way I am. So Detroit, handle business, move on. Let's see what you do next week, and yeah, I take my hat off to you. It's that simple.
Well, Gary, I'm tossing it to you next year just because I'm gonna let you catch your breath in between this game and the next, because I'm tossing it to you first for your Steelers. But the Lions beat the Rams 24-23, and did the better team win here?
Man, I wrote right here in my notes, this was a close one. I picked the Rams, but it wasn't an easy pick for me. I was a little bit politicking because I didn't want to see Niners, Rams, that would be a good one. But at the end of the day, my head was telling me that this is all right, but my head was telling me that the Rams, even though they don't have no defense, that kind of like it was shown here in this game, they're still going to maybe make enough clutch plays. I thought Goff was going to be Goff and give a turnover, a key turnover, and then boom, Rams capitalize, and that's a wrap. And the whole "this is why we traded you" aspect comes into the building, and boom, Detroit still has a good year, but they had to taste their lickings, had to get a little more let's say experience in the playoffs, and then next year. But man, oh man, the Jared Goff proved me wrong, and this game was epic, guys. This was the best game of the weekend by far. They were going nip and tuck. Some of these passes from both QBs I wanted to mention, but on the dime, on the money from Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford. It was just high-level football in every which way, and the beginning it looked like no team was going to get a stop. Detroit couldn't. Detroit kept scoring and getting really couldn't get a stop on the Rams, and the Rams really couldn't get a stop. I think they stopped them they didn't stop until really the second half. And it was kind of too late at that point. The Lions were already cooking at that point, and they did stop them a few times. I think on 1 or 2 possessions, the Rams. So, man, oh man, it was really like Kaz mentioned, them being legit and them being a legit team all the way around is what really prevailed in this game. On both sides of the football, Dan Campbell having his team ready to go, and this was a really good game. I was really nothing. I really can't say there was this person's fault, that person's fault. Like you mentioned, all the players on the Rams, or the defense haven't been on defense all year. And I know they have like maybe 1 or 2 injuries. They're young and they don't have that much on that side, so they were relying heavily on their offense. And you can't blame the offense. Really, there was no turnovers. And Puka went crazy. Cooper Kupp had some clutch throws as well, catches in this one. So you just got to give credit to the Lions, and everyone thought they'd revert back, but no, they were the Lions of new, and it was cool to see. And like we mentioned, Vaughn mentioned earlier, I guess the Rams always have even though they give up so much for Mr. Matthew Stafford. They still got the ring to prove it, so I guess it'll be, all be worth it at the end of the day. But it was cool to see. I guess Jared, it's only right that Jared Goff got this one and got his revenge against his old team, who basically left him high and dry and traded him away. So, and a team that he took to Super Bowl himself too. So, it just shows that, we kind of throw these quarterbacks sometimes in if you're not winning the bowl, we throw you to trash. And, Jared Goff is proving it's okay to be mid a little bit. You let him cook and be mid can take you to the top too. So, and you can't call him mid this year either. So that's actually saying
Kevin, I wanted to get your thoughts on this one next because I want to.
Am I tripping or Shaun's? Hell,
I'm gonna say, I'll wait for someone to say something. I didn't know if it was me tripping.
Shaun, you lagged out for like 10 seconds, brother.
I think that's what you cut me off.
Am I back? Can you guys hear me?
You're all good.
Yeah, no, we're all good. I just didn't know who if it was on my end or not. That's why I didn't say anything.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was just waiting for my screen to refresh because everything just kind of started going. Anyways, we're back. Here we are.
Okay.
Kevin, I wanted to get your thoughts on this because I don't know if you heard me at all. You probably didn't, but I wanted to know if you were politicking like Kaz was with your Rams pick.
Oh, not at all. I mean, the Rams were the better team, in my opinion. The Detroit defense has been really up and down this season. So, taking Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford, I just went with the experience. This is the first playoff game. You don't really know how they're going to come out. They can come out there and the moment be too big, the lights be too bright, which is kind of what I was expecting. But, Jared Goff showed me otherwise. And the thing that I really wasn't taking into consideration was Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds went out there for 5 catches for 80 yards, 16 yards per catch. And all game you heard about the ex-Lions or the ex-Rams playing, and he really came out to show. And Amon-Ra St. Brown really showed that, yeah, he might have not been a Pro Bowler, but he was a first-team All-Pro for a reason. 7 catches for 110 yards, 17 yards per catch, just going to show that he can do it on any day out. And I've been saying this all season long. This is the best running back duo in the NFL, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. They've done it. Jahmyr Gibbs more of the throw down back. You can throw it to him, you can run, but David Montgomery, you're going to give him to him 15 times down the middle and say, go make magic. So this Lions team is playing really well. I know everyone thought that I was picking them against them just because, like Cass said, he wanted to kind of pick out how it happened, but I was picking the Packers for that. I need the Lions to handle business for me. I had the Packers handling business for me. That's when I was politicking. That was a little bit of heart, a little bit of pain in my heart. So I'm always down to see the Cowboys lose. But, the Rams fought to the very, very last play. And like Gary said, it just goes to show that, maybe not Gary, Toddy said the Lions got all these picks for it. And, we look at it 3 years down the line. You look at the Super Bowl, but you have guys like Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs. They're pinning us so well. So they're really building their team from that trade.
Definitely forgot Aiden Hutchinson, too.
Aiden Hutchinson, Brian Branch, or Deion Branch on this defensive end. But the Lions, show that, maybe we didn't win the Super Bowl, but our future is set up better now because of that trade. And it was really unfortunate to see Matthew Stafford get booed, after all he did for Detroit. And I get it. It's sportsmanship, but he's the reason you guys are honestly relevant. Yeah, you have Megatron, but the punter couldn't kick it to Megatron every play. Someone had to throw it to him. So they went from Matthew Stafford to Dan Orlovsky, who was famous for running out of the end zone. So I think the Lions are on the way up, and what they can do next week versus the Bucs, we'll have to wait and see. But, I'm sorry the Rams didn't do it, but Puka Nacua, I don't know who said it, but there is no debate on Offensive Rookie of the Year. There's not nothing. The wide receiver is a dependent position. Quarterback is all lights are on you. You had the 2nd overall pick, and you're playing still. I think just because of that, there is no debate on Offensive Rookie of the Year.
His numbers, this is stats over politics.
But it's dependent. Cooper Kupp was out for 4 or 5 weeks. C.J. Stroud got to do it by himself.
That is true. With
receivers that before this season no one even heard of. At least Puka Nacua had a Hall of Fame quarterback throwing to him.
Yeah, Jaevon pulled out the Garry and was being a devil's advocate there. But impressive stats from Puka Nacua. He set the all-time rookie record-breaking stats. Yeah, he set the all-time rookie receiving record when it comes to receptions and also yards. Yes, he did have an extra game to do it compared to the guys in seasons past. Regardless, he set the records. And
not something to
Kevin, nothing to scoff at. Exactly. And Kevin, I would disagree with you, just in my own personal opinion, on one thing you said. I think that the Dolphins' backfield is the best running back duo
Thought
in
he
the
was going
NFL.
to say the Eagles.
Raheem Mostert led the NFL in rushing TDs this year. Devon Achane, he's coming on very strong. But I loved how you mentioned Josh Reynolds because he had 4 of those receptions and 75 of those yards in the first quarter. Like he really set the tone and let them know that the Lions were here. And everyone was talking about Jared Goff. And yeah, there was also the snapper on the Lions who Goff hugged after the game that played for the Rams before. But let's not forget, Josh Reynolds played for the Rams as well. I think he was drafted by the Rams out of Texas A&M University, and now he's playing for a coach from Texas A&M University. Can you tell that I just started writing about Texas A&M University? Because now I got all this useless Texas A&M knowledge to spew. Anyways, moving on here on